Today I'm going to talk about sleep issues, sleep problems, and how to ensure that our children sleep better, because sleep is very essential for growth, brain development, and overall development of the child, not only mentally but also physically. So these children are physically, mentally, and emotionally strong are those children who sleep better. So what are the things which we can do in order to ensure that the child sleeps better? Because a lot of parents are nowadays coming and saying that the child is not sleeping till night 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and it's very difficult for them to make them go to sleep. So a lot of issues the parents are facing, and next day morning they have to go to school and they cannot wake them up very early. Obviously they're sleeping late, you can't wake them up early, and if you wake them quite late, and then it becomes a rush period to the school, and the stress continues throughout the day. And when they go to school, they end up sleeping most of the times, or they are not attentive, or they will have emotional problems, they are extremely irritable, or their appetite also gets disturbed, and their stool pattern also gets disturbed. So there are many things which are linked to a good sleep, which is essential as far as parents are concerned in order to ensure that our child sleeps better. So what are the things which we can do, or what science or research says which parents can do in order to ensure that our child sleep better? So especially for children, so I would take it from children above 1 year, 2 years, what are the routines which we can follow? As simple routines which we can follow is, first and foremost is, we need to fix a routine for the child. Means there should be a fixed routine, a sleep routine for the child, which should be written, or which the parent should know and understand, and they should follow that routine religiously every day. Exceptions can be there like holidays or functions, but most of the days they have to fix to a routine in order to ensure that the child sleeps better. And first and foremost, what is important is the kind of diet, the time of diet, and the way the diet is given is also important as far as sleep is concerned. The request and science says that we are supposed to give the last feed 2 hours before the child goes to sleep, and there should not be any high amount of sugar or salt in the diet which the child consumes, especially for dinner, that is 2 hours before the meal. It should be a very simple, straightforward meal and easily digestible. And the water, as far as water is concerned, water should be preserved at least 1 hour to 2 hours before the child goes to sleep. The last amount of water should be given. You should not be giving water right before the child goes to sleep. What happens if you give too much of water just before the child goes to sleep is, the bladder becomes full, the child is going to become irritable, the child is going to get up for urination or going to pass urine, which in turn will disturb the sleep for the child. Third important tip is, if the child throughout the day is active, just give bath for the child in between a time between 6:30 to 7:30 or between 7 to 8. This is an adequate time for us to give bath based on the age of the child and the time when the child is bound to sleep. So if you give bath with warm water, usually the skin relaxes, the blood supply usually becomes more relaxed, the BP usually settles down, the heart rate settles down, and these children, because the muscle relaxes, that these children usually sleep better. Another important tip to make the child sleep better is to keep him active throughout the day. Don't see that he's sedentary throughout the day. Usually sedentary children don't sleep well. That's quite important to keep him really active. Another important tip is, don't allow the child, irrespective of age of the child, to take a nap after 5 p.m. The moment the child takes a nap after 5 p.m., his sleep disturbs, his rhythm gets disturbed at night. So whatever nap time you wanted to give, and it should be limited, the nap time should not be more than 30 to 40 minutes in a day for a child above 5 years of age. Between 2 to 5 years, we can allow between 30 minutes to 1 hour in a day, not more than that, because more time the child sleeps during daytime, less the child will sleep during night time. So it's better the child gets a good sleep during daytime. That's quite important, especially for children about 2 to 3 years of age. Another important tip is, so how do we proceed as far as sleep pattern? You can always have a dinner by 6:37, we can finish it off. Give a bath to the child, let the child do homework, and then you can have a small walk for the child, and then let the child come back and get into the bedroom instead of staying in the hall. The important tip in the bedroom, the kind of environment which we are supposed to maintain in the bedroom is, keep the lights dull. Keep it as amber light. Don't keep too much of bright lights for the child, because what happens is, bright lights usually decreases the melatonin production which is produced by the pineal gland in our brain. So more the bright light we have, lesser the amount of melatonin will be produced, and lesser the melatonin produced, lesser the child will sleep, and the probability of child sleeping will be less. So moment we are entering the bedroom, that light should be usually amber color, and no profile lights and no bright lights in the bedroom. Another important is, gadgets should be absent from the bedroom. No phones, no pads, no televisions, no computers, nothing should be present in the bedroom, especially the child's bedroom. That is a place where there should be books, and there should be his bed, and if necessary one toy can be given, which baby usually use it for hugging. So these are some things which we can keep in the bedroom. It will be minimalistic and the child should know that child is going to sleep. And next important is there should be a fixed routine for the night dress. The moment the child's night time comes, before the child goes to sleep, always change the dress, because it creates a mental routine to the child that now this dress has come means I am supposed to sleep. This is something which we can tune the child right from young age. It becomes a healthy sleeping habit for the child. And at the bed should be quite comfortable. It should not be too hard, it should not be too comfortable or too soft. That is something which we need to ensure. And the most important tip is, if you want our children to sleep well, is the time the parents spend before the child goes to sleep. The research has said that if a parent sings a lullaby to the child, or a parent tells stories to the children, or shows them some picture stories, or talks something very sweet and small to the child, these children usually sleep much better. Their sleep cycles are much better compared to a child who is not done all this. These things are not done. So if the child is sleeping with the gadget songs, child is sleeping some television, or child is something very active, then usually the sleep gets disturbed. And what we should not strictly do is having bright lights, having too much of hyperactivity just before going to sleep. There should not be too much of action before going to sleep, and there should not be any gadget time or TV time or anything, and no arguments, shouting. These all things should not happen. The environment should be very cool and calm, because these all things disturb the child during sleep. As we could see, some children will have a lot of bruxism issues. They'll be kicking their legs, they'll be shouting in sleep, they'll be falling down from sleep, or they get up from sleep and start crying. These all happen because their daytime routines are actually not uniform and they're not settling down to sleep in a proper. So these are the fixed some routines which we have to follow. And last but not the least is the wake up time should be uniform for every child. It is better the child gets up at least 90 minutes before they go to the school, because it gives them adequate time to settle down and go to school. It is not done in a rushed manner, and they'll have a good sleep. So the best time for us to make a child sleep is between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's the time. It depends on the age of the child, and not later than 9 p.m. because we have to wake the child up again by 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So that allows us enough time for the child to go to school, and his learning cycle will also not be disturbed. Thank you.